Yeah.
You hear waves all the time. Yeah. There's only, well, how do I tell the story? You hear waves outside the boat. Normally it's not a big deal. There have been a couple times where I'll wake up and be like, what is happening outside the boat? I can hear all sorts of craziness. And sometimes the craziness is people on deck adjusting lines, adjusting winches, moving gear around. And sometimes it's just water and waves, or sometimes you can't really tell. Most of the time, it sounds worse down here than it is up there. And so you can get psyched out in your head and be like, holy cow, what is happening on deck? And then you go up there, you're like, oh, not much of anything's happening on deck. It just sounds bad, especially if you've just woken up. But on the other hand, there have been times where you're like, oh my gosh, this boat is seriously heeled over. Okay, just get ready for it. And you have to keep that in mind. You're like, before you go on deck, assess what's happening up there and plan and work accordingly. You have to wear the right kit, and you have to clip on in certain situations. We didn't really talk about that, but everybody wears a life jacket on deck at all times. In certain situations, you wear a life jacket and clip yourself to the boat. So,
when have you had to clip yourself to the boat?
Anytime the wind is over 15 knots, which is actually
many
a very
miles
conservative
per hour?
17.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's a very conservative amount of wind. And if you were to feel 15 knots of wind, you'd be like, really? Yeah. Nothing.
Just being cautious.
It's really
Better
conservative.
safe than sorry.
It's really conservative, really cautious, really safe.
I mean, the alternative is pretty bad.
Yeah,
so.
and that's the thing is all these things, and there's all sorts of things we do for safety, and the reason we do them is because the risk factor of what happens if we don't. And when I say we had somebody on leg 6 that made it tough to live with, in a way, he was just like, this is, that's stupid. And you're just kind of like, just get with the program and do it. Yeah, it's like, there are definitely things on deck you just do, you're like, it's habit that we do it because it's super safe. But if anyone else were to really be like, why are you doing that right now? You're like, because it's a habit we need to keep so that when it really matters, we're ready. Because there are definitely times when you're like, it doesn't matter. Like 17 knots in the smoothest of sails, you don't need to be clipped on. No, we do. 15, we're clipped. So, but yeah, we clip on a lot because of that. And you just get used to it. And so when I say clip on, we'll go up top and I'll show you, but there's jack stays or lines all around the boat where you can clip on and then you can run along the distance of the boat. There's also little D-rings where you can clip if you're not going to be moving. So you can get around the boat. Sometimes you have to be like, I'll clip here, and then you're like, I'm going to go over here, and you have 2 hooks. So you can hook there before you unhook here, hook there before you. So you're always, there's none of this unhook to hook, because there's that little dangerous moment. We don't have that problem. But it can be a little bit of a obstacle course to get around the boat while you're clipped on. And part of training, it's just a funny little moment. They divide the crew in half on your training sail. They put 9 of you there, 9 of you there, however many. And then you basically have to go up one side and back the other side, while the other team is going up their side and back your side. So you have to cross all the obstacles that are there on the boat.
Plus each other.
That's
cool.
Yep. And it's a fun little race, and who knows who wins, but we have a good time doing it. And then you're just like, yeah, now I understand how the clips work and how to get around. But I'll show you the jack stays, and we'll get out of the heat of the down below.